That's the big problem here. Don't forget too, it's Speaker Pelosi. It's a free pass for her. She's not the president. She doesn't have to worry about conducting foreign policy worldwide. She's a member of Congress. She doesn't have to worry about it. She does a little, but not much. So poor Joe Biden, he looks weak because he either told her not to go, and it looks weak in the Chinese guys, or he's weak because he told her not to go and she went anyway. And that makes us look a little bit weak to the Chinese. And I got to tell you, during the time I was serving in Beijing, one thing I really learned, Chinese understand strength better than do people in any other country. And they can smell weakness 100 miles away. We've got to be strong, but strong in the best sense. That really means where they respect us, not where we take silly actions like the one the speaker just took.
Yeah. Former Ambassador Max Baucus, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Up next to us, live to Taipei. For news you've heard first here, right here on CNN. The House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to visit Taiwan. Despite China's stern warning, she must not.
Also tonight, the U.S. is warning China not to create a, quote, crisis, as the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is now expected to visit Taiwan. The White House arguing Pelosi has a right to travel there despite China's threats.
Plus, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is expected to visit Taiwan this morning, any moment now, as China warns of possible retaliation.
Well, people should not confuse the question of Taiwan with the Ukrainian conflict. And on the question of Taiwan, it concerns China's core interest. And some people here in the United States, on the issue of Ukraine, they emphasized national sovereignty and territorial integrity. But why they do whatever they want to damage China's core interest, infringe China's national sovereignty, territorial integrity? This is a play of a double standards. So we firmly reject that. And China has every right to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We are fully justified to do what we must. The current situation is created purely by the US side. So of course, it has to bear the responsibilities.
People can have different opinions about who's responsible for the moment. We are at this moment. And as Will Ripley says, the Chinese government has announced these overnight military exercises. Again, that is a risk of a miscalculation and a provocation. Is it not? Is the government of China, President Xi Jinping, is he so determined to get Taiwan that if necessary, he will take it by force?
Well, to achieve the reunification, as I said earlier, is the firm and the strong will of the whole Chinese nation. So China's sovereignty cannot be infringed, and the Chinese people cannot be humiliated, and the reunification of China cannot be stopped. We said repeatedly in recent time that the PLA will not stay idle. And the duty of PLA, the China's military, is to defend China's sovereignty, territorial integrity.
Mr. Abbas.
So we will take whatever we can to respond and to protect, to safeguard our sovereignty, territorial integrity. And our response will be very firm, strong, and forceful.
The Biden White House initially opposed this trip by the speaker. They tried gently to dissuade her. Once it was clear she was going, they decided to support her.
New information into CNN. China says it will launch a series of targeted military operations around Taiwan to counteract House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's arrival on the island. She is now the first House Speaker to visit Taiwan in 25 years. China has called this move major political provocation and has warned that those who play with fire shall perish by it. That's a quote. Now, China views the democratic self-governing island as part of its territory. That's why this is a big deal.
Happening now, China's military is mobilizing after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi lands in Taiwan, defying Beijing's threat of retaliation. We are tracking this risky test of U.S. relations with the communist regime.
Another story we're following this morning, Korean Air is canceling its flights into Taiwan for the next two days because China is firing multiple missiles towards the water very close to the self-ruled and Democratic Island. The live fire military drills are a response, China says, to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. You can actually hear the drills off the coast.
Let's take a closer look now at China's missile launches on Thursday. China fired several missiles that landed in the water off of the coast of Taiwan. This came during a series of live fire exercises. China's Central Television showed this video of missiles being launched. They were apparently fired from China's Pingshan County. That's one of the closest points on the mainland to Taiwan. This comes just one day after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan.
And in addition to that, they've flown this today alone 21 fighters and bombers through the Taiwanese Air Defense Identification Zone. So you've got several approaches that the PRC is using to intimidate, to show a little bit of bluster.